Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. As you can see, sitting beside me is Homestead Oz, the Australian amazing
Oh,
people down there, down under. Um, Guys, I have not bad news, but not great news either. I received an email from Angry Prepper at like 2 o'clock this afternoon. I didn't get an alert until about 10 minutes ago. He had to work tonight, but he said he's going to try to get away and still pop into the stream. So I'm keeping my eyes open down at the bottom to bring him in if he does get a chance to pop in and join us. But you know what? We're always prepared. And it just so happens that the Angry Prepper lives in America just like I do.
yeah,
So
that's it.
the questions that we have worked up here for the summit, I'm going to step in and give the American from North Carolina slash wherever point of view to offset the Australian point of view, and hopefully Angry will pop in and a little bit later on, and if we have to, I'll just repeat the questions over and get his point of view on it as well. But again, I apologize. I emailed him back and said, absolutely hop on here, whenever you can, if you can. If you can't, it's not that big of a deal. We'll just take a rain check and maybe we'll get him on session number 2. But fortunately, he's not here with us right now.
Yeah,
Got my fingers crossed that he will be.
yeah.
But
And
we'll see
and
what happens.
John, and John, look, I've got all the New York photos behind me at my daughter's place, just prepared for him. Like, come on, Angry, where are you? So, yeah, he's probably watching from work right now. So, but he can't do much about it. So that's it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Sometimes, I mean, he's a firefighter. I was a
He's a fun.
volunteer firefighter for 3 years, and I know how unpredictable that job can be. And I was just a volunteer, so I can imagine how unpredictable it is if he's full time. Actually, I know because my nephew's a firefighter as well. So, but
Yeah.
we will not get disheartened. We'll
No.
push through this just the two of us if we have to. Uh,
Yeah.
and we'll kind of go from there, and we'll just make it work.
Right.
It bites that he's not here, but maybe he'll show up. But if he doesn't, we'll just maybe we'll get him for the next show, and
That's
we'll
right.
see what
Well,
happens.
well,
You
John,
know,
there's a song about that, just the two of us. There we go. There's the two of us now. So there we go.
exactly. So
No,
to those of you in the chat that only showed up to hang out with Angry Prepper, I do apologize.
yeah.
This was not a publicity stunt to get people here. I would say I'd show you the email, but I don't even know how to do that. But he did email and say that he was going to be here, and then he did email me a few hours ago. Unfortunately, I didn't get the email until we were backstage, and I was wondering where he's at. And I'm like, man, let me check my email. I was going to email him, and there his email was. I'm like, crap,
Yeah.
and I didn't get an alert. I'm sure we've all had that happen to us before on our supposedly smartphones that really aren't that smart.
Well,
But things happen. It's it is what it is. But what we'll do, let's see, since Lynn is my guest here, why don't you take a few minutes and explain to us, a little bit about what you guys do down there, and then we'll get into doing the show.
okay, great. Yeah, well, for those of you that don't know, Wayne and I in Homestead Oz, Wayne and I have been prepping for probably about 35 years. We've been together nearly 40 years, and we could see the writing on the wall coming, what we're all involved with around 2019. The year before we had, about 6 months before we had the bushfires, I was seeing the potential financial collapse that was happening, and I could see more control measures coming onto us. Now, when you do have a fairly good background history of researching what we're involved with now, the writing was pretty clear on the wall. So we started prepping very, very heavily just before the bushfires came. That was about September. And we all know that it was January, February that we all got informed that this is what we were going to be going through. So, yeah, Wayne and I are in a situation that we're on a farm. Wayne's always been a farmer. He's got a lot of skills. He's got a lot of mates that have skills too, which keeps my mind very clean and clear. Okay, so I can do my end. So Wayne and I work really good as a team. I'm preaching to the converted here. I'm seeing most of the people here in the chat are like Wayne and I. I know most of you here, but there might be the odd one here that's new. So I started then saying to Wayne, we need community. We need community. So we started getting in contact with you USA guys and watching YouTube more because we were very independent. We didn't really feel like we needed YouTube. We didn't, but we had a message to give out. So that's why we started. And I think Ghost was the same. And then I started to watch Ghost and was really impressed with his straight outness, his point of view. And I was very impressed with the people that he was associating with too, because we're all like-minded. That's the whole thing now is trust. Trust, trust, trust. Who do we trust? Test the spirits, as they say. So that's where I'm coming from. You know, I'm a farmer's wife in her mid-50s, been doing this, trying to get fit at the moment because I've had some health issues. You haven't seen me. But we're excited because the main reason we're excited, we're in the know and we're awake. And that's the main thing. So there you go, guys. That's a bit of Wayne and I in our background.
Awesome. One thing we forgot to do, we didn't say hello to the chat. We'll back up for a little bit.
That's right. We didn't do that.
Let's see. We got Mad Shad, PAEMT, Natives here, Hoot Owls here.
Yeah.
Zani Zaz here, Japhet Methuselah, Leslie, hello, Prepper 101.
Virginia's here. Yeah.
Shift Kicker, Virginia Roots.
Mm-hmm.
Aussie Garden and Kitchen, hello.
Hi, Daz.
Rosanna Jones, Australian Ange.
Yeah.
The Milkmaid.
The Milkmaid, yep. Be Charming. Be Charming's here.
Yeah,
Wendy.
Be Charming.
Yeah. Moonchild.
Rowan Hagen.
Oh, Rowan.
Tammy. Rowan says hello from Australia. Tammy C, hello. Klingon Princess. Wendy Benjamin. Let's see. Hoodall Holler. Gemma's here. Gemma's Journey Grace. Hello, Gemma. Love you, sweetheart. Glad you could make it. Jill Frazier. Heads or Tails Living.
Mm. And Jill, nice to meet you too.
Angela BNC. Ronnie Braun. Blue Vandal. We got some people in here tonight.
Yeah, we have.
300. What's going on, brother? Sherry Leach, hello. Wendy Benjamin. See Mad Shad. What's going on, Mad Shad? Bug Dude. Let's see. Hope I didn't miss anybody. If I did, I apologize. If I see a name that I haven't said, I'll try to jump in there and say it. Stephanie Joe Roundtree, Dean Mullins, Sherry Leach, Moonchild, hello.
Yep, Stuart's here too.
Yeah.
Stuart W. Yeah. Liz. Judy, hi.
Judy Good, hello and welcome. Okay, for those of you that are just joining us, as you know, the Angry Prepper, hello, Kim's Farm Life. He is a firefighter, and Bella, hello. Something came up, and he had to work tonight. He did send me an email earlier, but I did not get the alert until I was actually backstage. And I decided I was going to send him an email, and I saw that he had sent me one at like 2 this afternoon, but I didn't get the alert. I didn't get the email until like 2 minutes before airtime. But in his email, he did say he had to work, but he was going to still try to do the live or at least pop in for a little while. So let's keep our fingers crossed that he'll jump in here. But us being preppers are always prepared. So it just so happens that I'm an American, and I'm also about 7,000 miles or so away from Australia. So I believe I can kind of step in and answer the questions as far as giving an American point of view. You know, the cool part is I wrote the questions, so I should have decent answers, I would think. Actually, I really don't. These are pretty weird questions. I really went pretty far out there. So we'll see what happens. Either way, we're going to have fun with it.
Advantage over me, Ghost. You do have an advantage here, but who cares? Doesn't matter. I'm used to people having advantages over me. That doesn't. Dusty's here. Hutch is here. Great to see you, brother.
Colin Anderson, hello. Welcome.
Yeah, another Aussie. Great.
The whole basis for this show, East Tennessee Preparedness, hello. The basis for this show, it first started in my mind when you guys had me on and interviewed me a few weeks ago. I just got to thinking about some of the stuff you and I were talking about backstage beforehand, and about a week and a half ago, 9 days or so ago, it just kind of hit me. It all came together. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do a show, and it's going to be about, you know, not just USA preppers, not just preppers in Florida or preppers on the East Coast, but like all across the country, all across the world, and get different points of view on, you know, the price of fuel here is going to be way different than the price of fuel there. And in my mind, I'm thinking, you know, if everybody networked globally, it would almost be like an early warning system of things to come, because when something falls apart, it falls apart in one neighborhood first, and then it spreads out, you know. So if you've got contacts like all around the planet and things are going crazy, you know, in Brownstown, Illinois, and we all know about it, and it just starts growing, then we can spread the word. So everybody really isn't getting caught off guard. Plus you get perspective, you know what I mean? I want like a perspective of where you are, because a lot of preppers, including myself, you know, I don't venture very far from home unless I absolutely have to. I just don't do it. If I don't have to, I ain't gonna do it. I ain't doing it. So it's kind of this is kind of a surrogate way to get not necessarily information, but intel, firsthand intel from the people that are actually dealing with it. And that was a big thing for me that I see on a lot of prepper channels, is everybody's giving out information and they're calling it intel. Intelligence and information are two totally separate things. Information is somebody's upper lip and bottom lip just doing this and noise being made. Information is just noise. Okay. All right. Think about the mainstream media. That's information. That's not intel. Intel is verifiable. It's independently verifiable. And you've got proof that it's actually happening. Absolutely. That's the big difference. And that's one of the things with doing the summit. I wanted to reach out and actually get firsthand intel on how things are going in Australia. How are things going in Europe? How are things going in Japan? What's going on in Russia? You know, and get firsthand information from the people that are actually there, not CNN, not NBC, you know, things like that. And it just came to me, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to do the show. We'll call Prepper Summit, and each, you know, once, maybe twice a month, and get people from other sides of the planet and just ask just not hard questions, just normal off the cuff questions that would affect everybody. And if people like it, we'll keep doing it. If they don't, I'll have another idea and I'll do something else. You know, it is what it is. But that's where the idea came from.
Well, personally, Ghost, I think it's a fantastic idea, and I think we need more of this. I mean, when you said, you know, once a month maybe, I'm like, no, I think we need to be doing this a little bit more. I'm happy for you to do it once a fortnight, because it saves our time. So if we've got someone from Japan, like you said, or UK or whatever, telling us what's going on, what their exports aren't, what they're not doing, so you're not going to get the UK things coming to the USA. We're on the board. We haven't researched for the last 10 hours to find that. It takes a lot of time to research. Hence is why I've got bloodshot eyes. You know, I research a lot, and I only sleep a few hours a night. We're all researching, but this is a great idea. Love the idea. So, all right, I'm ready for the questions, and bring them on hard. I'm used to it.
All right, you ready, huh? Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Number one. Have you seen? All right. Well, I mean, we all know that there were some price increases across the board and supply issues when the whole pandemic thing started. So my question is, have you seen a rebound of the products or services in your area since the beginning of the pandemic? Have supply chains returned to normal? How about prices and the availability of goods?
Okay, so the similarities between us and you, Ghost, are, yes, building supplies are totally off the charts, which I think you guys are still in that predicament now. So that actually eventuated about 4 months ago, I suppose, the same as you. So that's been across the board for you and us. Supply chain, issues, because of the imports, like for instance, beer, there's a lot of things that come from China that make our beer here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
I hope so. Yeah. Okay. So a lot of things come from China to make our beer. Vodka that's another thing. Well, that's not made here. Okay. So imports are a big thing. I think the big thing with the imports here is that initially at the start of this scene, there was about a cost of around about $2,000 per container to bring it to Australia. Now we know that that's around $10,000 Australian dollars to bring a container to Australia. So, you know, that's going to stop a lot of people exporting their product to our country. Of course, we know this is planned. This is planned. We know that. So getting back to your question, yeah, the things that were at the start, which was the panic buying, as we know, the toilet paper, the milk, the meat, we are seeing, I'm in contact with a lot of people high up in the supply chain, and they're saying that it's not so much a supply chain issue now. It's more what you're seeing too, which is the truck drivers not getting enough pay. The truck business is going out of business too. So they're trying to get that, you know, 3-day turnover to us. Plus the other thing is the price increases. So I think what you call hamburger, I think you call it hamburger mince. We call it just mince. Well, here's an instance, okay? That was $7 a kilo, which is $7 for 2 pounds for you. Okay, now it's $14 and for 2 pounds for you or me. Okay, so that's a big instance. I did think about, okay, right now peaches. All right, so we import a lot of fruit here in Australia because one of their things is on their agenda is to stop the Australian farming. As you know, it's happening in America right now, and so peaches are $17 for 2 pounds at the moment. Okay, $17. So I'll explain to the viewers here, okay, very quickly, guys. So I won't go on too long. You can ask me another question in a minute. But I just want to say our Aussie dollar, so our dollar, you just take 34 cents off that dollar, and that's what your price will be. So it's $10, take $3.40 off our price. Okay, you understand that? Yeah, so...
Yeah.
You know, cost of fuel. Ghost, what's your fuel cost now over there? I don't know. You call it gas, we call it petrol.
It depends on the area. Like on the West Coast, it's like depends on what part of the state or what part of West Coast. It's upwards of $5, $6, $7 in some places. Here on the East Coast, it's around $3 per gallon, which is, you know, a gallon is 4 liters. But yeah, so the fuel really didn't get hit that hard. I mean, you know, the funny thing was when this thing first hit, I was prepped, you know, and everybody's supposed to stay home. I never stayed home. I never paid attention to lockdowns. I went and did whatever I want to do the exact same way I did it beforehand. I never slowed down, not one day. I put the mask on and I went into places, and I was gathering intel is what I was doing, seeing what was going on. And I was watching all the shelves get empty, and I was watching a really unique thing that blew my mind at first. It took me a while to figure out what is. I remember being in Walmart, everything was empty. And then, you know, within a few days, they're stocking the shelves back up, and there would be shortages on every other aisle. And then every other day they would be filled up. And it was just the logistics of getting it there. But what I noticed was that, say on the soft drink aisle or the soda aisle, there were different brands of soda that were never carried in that store before. And I was like, why is this? And then I got thinking about it. I'm like, they just want full shelves, number one. And so they're filling orders with whatever they can get to get the stuff up there. And the same thing happened with canned foods. You're seeing, you know, different brand names that you'd never seen in Walmart before, but they were getting them just to get the product on the shelves. Plus your mom and pop grocery stores were ordered to shut down, you know, so you had all that supply that would have been going to them was getting rerouted to the other stores, you know, which helped offset it to where people were thinking, oh, we're not really running out, but it was running very, very, very low, you know, but it's rebounded pretty good. But there are still rotating shortages depending on what it is. But the availability has been there, like I said, but there's been different brands, but it's been really sketchy. It's rebounded. I don't have faith in it whatsoever, but it's just been really sketchy. And like the price of hamburger meat, or you call it mint meat, it was the cheap stuff, the 70/30 was $1.89 a pound. I remember distinctly because I had just put up about 40 pounds of ground beef right before all this happened. It was $1.89 a pound. And the last time I looked, it was I got some and I canned it on the live stream about a month ago, and I want to say it was right at a little bit over $3, like $3.20 a pound. So it's double. It's about the same as it is down there. It's basically increased by 100%.
100%. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. So, okay. So if it's $3 for you, I'll just add on $1.20. That's $4.20. So you're still, ours is about $3 a pound dearer than yours. So there you go. So that's the difference. Yeah. So,
Okay.
Milk, they're going to be attacking all the basics. That's the thing. We know that. It's all the basics that we eat. Peanut butter. Yeah, I don't know how they get so many peanuts to make peanut butter for us all. I'm a bit sus on that. But anyway, but the milk, I don't know about your dairy industry, guys, but our dairy industry has been taken over by, the big C over up in the north. The last few years. So
the dairy industry here, I'm on the East Coast, and it's a pretty big market. The East Coast, we have a lot of dairy farms. We have a lot of pork, and we have a lot of chicken farms out here. So the price of pork, the price of chicken, and the price of dairy, it's increased, but nowhere near as much as the other things, because it's so local that it's readily accessible. Now, I would think in an area like if we didn't have a lot of dairy farms, I would think dairy would have been hit really, really hard. But even in the grocery stores, dairy, there was at the very beginning, there were a couple days I went in and there was just like a few gallons of milk, but never once did I go and I wasn't able to get milk. And even when the meat was really stressed, there would be no beef, but there would still be a little bit of pork, a little bit of chicken, things like that. So the beef was what was really hard hit out here as far as the meat.
Well, the beef, well, here in Australia, the beef industry is still fairly controlled by the Australians. And so I think that was a little bit of the agenda too, whereas the poultry, behind the scenes, you've still got Australian names on the farms, but behind the scenes, they're not owned by Australians anymore. Or it could be a 70% share from, the CHINA. So I'll just have a look at the chat for a minute while you think of what else you're going to ask me. Butcher's fees.
I put a question up for you from Zah. She wanted to know, Homestead Oz, is your country pushing the issue of plant-based meat?
Yeah, totally, Zah, totally. I went to my daughter's place a few months ago, just as you guys and Ice Age Farmer were starting to talk about this. And she's on an island, Phillip Island. I said, Mel, do you see all the plant-based food there? And she's going, what do you mean, Mum? She hadn't noticed because she doesn't go to that part, right? And I said, it's bigger than the hamburger meat, as you call. So, or bigger than the chicken part. So, they're pushing that really, really heavily here. They'll probably use the excuse of drought, which they'll start to use for you guys. We were in drought for 10 years, terrible. That was, I won't go into that so deeply here, but there was a lot of scenarios in play there that was politically orientated towards the drought, including the water, the water control, which is happening to you guys in California right now. I would really be looking at the California farm reports of what's coming out, because they're the ones you need to go by. What are the farmers saying? I always say to people, what are the farmers saying? Then you'll know. Don't ask the grocery store manager. They got no idea. The supply chain starts with the farmer and ends with the farmer, really. So.
And the only way you're going to get intel asking farmers is if they are independent farmers, not the ones that are company owned. If they're company owned, they're hampered. They can't say they'll lose everything if they open their mouth about true numbers. So it's got to be your family farms. That's where you're going to get the real truth.
They're the ones that are hurting. Exactly right. Yeah.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on how the media and the public treat preppers? Has this changed over time? And why do you think that is?
The last 12 months, well, I think you guys went through it in 9/11. Okay, when 9/11 hit. Okay, so preppers, they're not called preppers anymore here. We're called a word that starts with T. So no, it ends with T, and it's got double R in the middle. So you can guess what we're Australia. You guys are still very lucky over there, and the reason why they're treating very carefully with you patriots and preppers in America is because there's too many of you. In Australia, no, there's not many of us. That's the thing. And so, they can fully put the propaganda on us on the news, and they've done that. Pre-C virus, it was full on about preppers are crazy and all the rest on the media. Look at these people. Well, we saw it with the panic buying. People did have to get toilet paper very quickly. So, immediately they were the crazy ones. But yeah, the difference, I want to go a little bit deeper with that. Because you're a country of freedom, you were built on freedom. Your control at the moment with the door-to-door that's happening, and they're using different strategies on you, Ghost. And I'm sure Native's in here, he'll be agreeing with me that, the storyline goes here, the narrative, as they say, is getting played out full-blown in our face right now. They're not hiding anything. The difference is between us and you is we have stronger border controls. We can just come into our local town here. There's police everywhere, okay? And they're saying, have you got a permit? Check your papers. Okay, that's what we have now. And so to me, the difference between us and Germany, our state right now, we're a lot down the line from you guys with this NWO. Okay, but having said that, they're scared of you guys more, so you're going to get more control in the next few months. I hope I'm not getting too heavy on you for censorship or whatever. But yeah.
It's like, I was born a prepper. I was born on a farm. I was raised on a farm. To me, it's just normal. Prepping is a made up word. If you look at what a prepper actually does, that's what normal people did. That's what your grandparents did to survive every single day. And then it got a bad name, just like it is down there until, and I want to credit the show Doomsday Preppers that was on TV, and I'm pretty sure Angry Prepper was a guest on there, but that show, it went mainstream. So then it got publicity, even though everybody was laughing, a lot of people were laughing, a lot of people took it serious. So it kind of helped. It really, a lot of preppers felt insulted by that show, but it actually helped bring prepping to the mainstream, and it made it more palatable for nationwide audiences, which helped a lot. Since the pandemic happened, we've seen the number of preppers channels on YouTube channels in the prepping community explode. There were just, there were a few hundred. Now there's like several thousand. Everybody that has a name, they just put the word prepper behind it, and they show you how to pour rice in a bucket. It's out of control. And it's changed over time, and I think it's the exact opposite here as it is for you guys down there. Everybody here wants to be a prepper because it's like it's the cool thing now. It's like you are where we were 20 years ago. You know what I mean? 20 years ago, you didn't tell anybody. It's like, shh, it's a secret, but thanks to, Doomsday Prepper and YouTube and the community kind of getting bigger, it's kind of more widely accepted. And the pandemic itself really kicked it into high gear, which is, to me, was, kind of strange, but I'm glad that it worked out that way.
Yeah. Well, it's a reactive thing, isn't it? We were preventative. I would say we were the preventers, and now we've got a lot of people reacting by becoming preppers. Now, the thing that concerns me with people that are just coming on board as preppers, I've said it before, I'll be straight out with it, the mental capacity to handle what we're going through. They can stack beans and rice, but unless you're mentally prepared, emotionally prepared, mature enough to handle what is really going to be happening, what is happening now, okay, behind the scenes. And news isn't going to be showing us what's happened in Argentina. Like this morning, I know Prepper 101 was going to be on here too. He said he was coming back later, but he just put up what I think Zay Speaks the Truth, which is a good channel, guys. He's been putting out a lot of truth. And what it was a guy on an Argentinian roof, and the healthcare workers are on top of the roof with him. I think some in the chat might have seen it. Or did you see that? And they're forcing the on him. So Angry did part 1 and part 2, and I wanted to talk to him about that, and he says just say no. It's gone past saying no. I know Angry won't mind me saying that because our country's different to yours, but yeah, you can't say no. You've just got to keep that door shut, keep that gate shut. That's what you're going to have to do, guys.
And for all you guys in the chat, I mean, I want to address the questions as I see them, but I don't want to lose momentum with getting the questions across from the channel. So if you can just hang on to your questions, and then towards the end, you pop them up there and I'll let her knock them down. So just kind of, jot them down, hold them in your head, put them to the side, and then we'll address them at the end. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, here's a good one.
Faster too. Okay, I'll speak faster so we can get through this. That'd be good.
Okay. Of all the possible SHTF scenarios, I'm talking about CMEs, EMPs, financial collapse, government collapse. Which one or ones do you think is most likely to happen? How would it directly affect you due to your location on the planet?
At the moment, probably 5 years ago, if you asked me that, it would have been grid down. That's what would have been on my mind straight away. Now, what I'm saying is, from what we're seeing in our area, and we were the first in the world to actually have such controls to the extreme in our state here, would be the lack of privacy. The censorship is really affecting us strong, which means that we cannot talk openly to people and we don't know who we trust, which is part of their agenda, of course. But I'm getting to the point, guys, don't worry. The biggest thing on my mind right now is we are in Germany in 1945. That's how we are living in our state now. It's getting to the point that people are getting jailed. They were, you guys might have watched me last year coming on some American channels and talking about how people were being jailed and people were being just for not wearing a mask. That's happening. That is happening all in our state. And so, well, Wayne and I do have German background, so we've got that blood in us. But for those of you in the USA, and look, right now, I know there's people in the chat that are in New South Wales, in Australia. You guys, please watch back on Rebel News of what happened in Victoria last year. This is going to be happening to you. Old ladies arrested. There's no favoritism on what age you are, whatever, and we know the next thing that's happening. Look, CFP from Survival Living said it the same thing too. I mean, our idea, Ghost, is that we have plan A to Z. We don't have one plan. Okay. Yes, we've got a beach garden in. Yes, we've got, we have a lot more ammunition than what you have because they took our guns away from us. Right, in the 1990s. So they don't have to ban ammunition here, right, because no one has a gun. On the surface, people don't have guns. So, yeah, your ammunition shortage, that was, we know, planned because we've got how many, 500 million guns you guys have over there or whatever it is. But getting back to the point, all this fits into one thing, okay? There's so much Wayne and I have to think about every day and analyse every day. Every day, guys, Wayne and I are thinking in the situation we're in, when do we go? Will we go? What will we do? How do we do it? That's how we think every day. Isn't that how people in Germany thought in the 1940s? Those movies that we watched, we're living it here now. And I'm not understating this at all. It's a true fact. And if anyone in the chat or viewing this that's not in the chat doesn't agree with me, come and live down my place for a little while and you'll see it, okay? You'll see it. Wayne's at a freedom meeting right now. I don't know how long that's going to last because, yeah. Anyway, there you go, guys.
That was a really, really detailed and good answer. And I've got a couple of personal friends that I've known for years that live in Australia. And one of them is in the import-export business, and he can back up everything that you just said. I mean, it's really went from decent to just what planet am I on in the last, couple of years down here. It's crazy. Out of all the possible SHTF scenarios for me, I mean, initially you could say, oh, it's the financial, it's the government collapse, it's a CME or an EMP. You know what? If an EMP hits, the government's going to collapse. Financial market's going to collapse. So plan for the worst possible thing you can think of, because it's going to cover all the little ones below it, you know? I mean, you know, main thing, have a whole bunch of food and water and just work from there. I mean, pick a scenario. 9 out of 10 things you're going to do for each one of those scenarios are exactly the same. You know, you got to eat, you gotta drink something, and you got to take care of yourself and your family, you know, no matter what the situation is. That's right. The way I look at it.
Yeah. And see, you're in the summer at the moment. You've got to be really aware. You've had heat stroke before, so you've got to be really aware of your health regarding whatever situation's going on. If there's no power, you don't have air conditioning, so you're probably getting your body acclimatized now to not relying on an air conditioner to run or a fan, because you know someday you might have to do that. Look at Texas with you guys.
I mean, and that's the point. That's a good point you brought up. You know, here it's summertime. Where you're at, it's winter. You know, it's completely two different seasons. You know, and that's one of the reasons why I purposely bought a house with a basement. So if my AC goes out, I just go downstairs, and it's going to stay in the high 60s, low 70s year round. So I'm good. You know,
that's good.
Plus, you know, I have a solar generator that powers an air conditioning unit, and you know, so there's several different options. But here's a good one for you. During your time as a prep, what would, and this covers a long time for you. You've been prepping for decades. During your time as a prepper, what would you consider to be your biggest success and your biggest failure?
Oh, my biggest failure, I'll say first, and that is not dating my stores that I had years ago. And the biggest thing was I didn't store them properly, because I was just like, okay, stuff it in there. We've got no rats here, no mice or anything at the moment. And I never got around to storing them properly. So I think our chooks and our cows and our dogs got a lot of that when I was initially first prepping, right? So that was a good lesson. Luckily, it wasn't a lot of money then, but so now one of our biggest successes is we've pulled the video down because we can't have it up here in Australia anymore, but it was our prepper shed, okay? You guys can still put up your preps, and we can't anymore, okay? Because that's the rules are here that we can't do that. So, yeah, the biggest success, Wayne, I've had the last 12 months has been stacking everything in properly, doing it. I've bought Prepper Nerds computer system, you know, whatever you call it, program, and I'll be doing all that. So, yeah, you know, lessons learned hard are the best lessons usually. So, but, probably our best success has been gardening too over the years. Wayne and I are avid gardeners. So, we've had a lot of failures. So we had failures in that too. I suppose, guys, what I should say is we failed our way to success in everything. That's what I should say, okay?
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. For me, I would say my biggest failure as a prepper would be the time I basically took off from when I got out of high school until, you know, about 10 years ago when I really got back into it hard, you know, because I could have been so much further ahead of the game than I am right now. And don't get me wrong, I'm doing all right. I'm way better than most. I'm not as good as everybody, but I'm way better than most. But there's still room for improvement. My biggest success, and I'm not blowing smoke up anybody's skirt in the chat, but I think my biggest success as a prepper was joining the YouTube community, because it keeps me motivated. You know, it keeps in perspective. It really keeps things in perspective when people comment, even when the comments are negative about something that you're doing or something that you did. It really keeps things in perspective, and it keeps me motivated to do it better. Or if I need to change it, I'll change it. If I need to improve it, I'll improve it. So I would say that's probably my biggest success. Otherwise, I would still just be mumbling along at half speed instead of, you know, just attacking it.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point, because I would assume that's, okay, friendships. That's you hit it on the head. That's been our biggest success too the last 6 months, and that you're right. That really nails it, I think, Ghost. Yeah.
And then you get to meet like really awesome people like this young lady. If you hadn't checked out her channel, you should.
I will. Love you guys. I'm very happy I've met you. Yeah.
She's in the UK. She is awesome. She's just awesome. She's nothing but positive in the chat. She's awesome.
That's good. Yeah, positivity. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I go to the positive comments first on anyone's channel, and before I start reading the negatives. So
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
okay. Yeah,
Let's
so
see here. All right.
Ghost, we do
Given the,
have a lot of similarities. We do have a lot of similarities
yeah.
regarding
Yeah.
what's going on. But yeah, because I think Rudy put it in a good way, is that we're all in this together across the planet. And he said that a few times in those type of words.
Yeah.
And it's so true. That's why you've started this Prepper Summit. I think, as I say, I keep saying it's a fantastic idea. And this, I can only see this growing because this
I
is
hope so.
what people need.
Yeah, he was the one I was going to try to bring in as a surprise guest, and I'm like, nah, that's too much power on one show. You know, he needs to be, you know, on a separate show, because he's probably one of the smartest people I know. You know what I mean? If I had him, you, and the Angry Prepper up here, it would be like a 4-hour stream, and we still wouldn't get through the questions. You know what I mean?
No.
It would take forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely reaching out. I'll try to get him up here as soon as possible. So
yeah.
yeah.
You know what? It'd do Rudy good to come on a panel, because him and I have got something in common. It's hard to stop us from talking. So yeah, it'd be good to get Rudy up on a panel.
I know when he came on the live canning stream back a month or so ago, we did Guy, and I invited him on, and he's like, I can pop in for a few minutes and say hello to everybody. He stayed for 2 hours. You know, it was awesome. It was great. He was like, man, I gotta get off here. So it was awesome. Okay, so given the present local and global climate, what warnings and or words of encouragement would you like to share with new preppers, seasoned preppers, and just the people in the chat?
Okay. Well, the warning I would give to everybody is what we're all saying: stay awake. Stay awake. Don't get complacent. Okay, that's very vague. So when I say stay awake, I mean, you know, if you've got beans stacked under the bed, find another bed. Just keep going. You know, stay awake to the food prices will still be skyrocketing. Look, the commodities market shows this. The financial sector shows this. We have to have hyperinflation based on how our current situation is now. There's no going back, guys. This is it. We need to really, so my warning would be stay awake and alert to everything. Think about when you walk out that door, look around you. What are the people doing? We're seeing people walking like zombies asleep. Stay awake. Okay, so that's number one. I just think that's so important, because I do think a lot of new preppers, because I've been through this, and so would have you, Ghost. We feel comfortable when we've got our torches and our bugging out bag, and we've got our food stored right. We get complacent. We've got enough. No. Think of other avenues that you haven't covered. None of us cover the whole lot. Homestead Oz and Ghost, we haven't covered every base, you know. So so okay, a little bit of advice. Look at what your skills are. Don't look on people on YouTube and go, wow, I can't do that. Don't worry. Look what you can do. You know, it might be you're great at cooking. Well, great. You might be able to help out a neighbour, get a relationship with that neighbour that's not well or whatever.
Yeah.
All those things. Building relationships at the moment is the most vital thing for Wayne and I, and Ghost. I think that's for you too.
Mm-hmm.
Our dear friends on YouTube, it's been so important to us. You just touched on it. Mad Shad said he agreed with what you said. You know, that's been the biggest success. So, yeah, building relationships, staying awake, and what was the rest of the question?
It was, Rainy Steps. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And you correct. She is a great guest and an awesome person. It was any words of warning or encouragement? Oh,
encouragement. All right. Yeah. Well, the encouragement would be, please, while YouTube is going, keep in the community. That's the thing. Don't get independent. You know, lone wolves aren't really lone wolves. They always have to go see a pack somewhere. I've never, you know, you look in the wild, the wolves really aren't. They're in packs. They always go in packs. So, yeah, we can tend to be a lone wolf in our own home, in our local community, if no one is agreeing with what we're saying. But stay with the YouTube community. This is what we need. And if it's not YouTube, if that goes down soon, BitChute, Telegram, Rumble, whatever it might be, learn how to use it, you know. So,
good
yeah.
point.
And really seek out. A lot of people are saying on YouTube, they can't find anyone locally that thinks like them. Wayne and I were in the same situation until about 6 weeks ago. Suddenly, I mean, that's where he is now, meeting with a group of people that are like-minded, that have been around us like ants, but we never knew, you know. So, yeah, it's harder in Australia than you guys in the USA. It is a cool thing to be a prepper in the USA, but it's too many dibber-dobbers. People in Australia are still into the speedboats and the barbecues full on. So, you know, and the football games. So, you know, that's another bit of turn off the TV. No more football, please, guys. Look, I'm a grandmother. You can hear it in me, like, you know.
Northern Girl says hello. She'll have to catch the replay. Thanks for jumping in, Northern Girl. We appreciate it. Words of warning and words of encouragement. My words of warning is don't ever get complacent.
Yeah.
Ever relax. Don't feel content. Don't do those things, because you're not. You should never be relaxed. You should never feel content, and you should never get complacent. My word of encouragement: get involved. Get involved with the community. Get involved with the community of people that think like you do. They will keep you motivated. They will keep you excited about doing what you're doing. They will. You know, instead of you doing it on your own, especially if you've got negative input from family and friends, you know, keep that negative stuff somewhere else. Get involved with people who think like you do. Okay. I mean, if you're around nothing but negative, it's gonna affect you. You gotta just shut it down, leave it alone. You just gotta turn that switch off and just function in an environment that is conducive to the way that you think.
Yeah, I agree, Ghost. You know, you got to shut it off. And the thing is that a lot of us have compassionate hearts. A lot of preppers are really kind people, but we have to really be aware of who we're being kind to. That's the thing. There's bleeding souls out there at the moment, and really their agendas aren't the same as us. We're into survival and helping others. That's a thing. Yes. So we've got to keep ourselves strong. We've got to keep ourselves strong. Now, touching on that, guys, physical fitness. I don't know about you, but Wayne and I, we're farmers, we're outside. People assume we're fit. We're not fit. We need to get ourselves fit. That's another thing. So anyone in the chat, if you're feeling like you're huffing up that hill, you know, you might need to huff up another hill and start getting fitter.
Exactly. Okay, we're down to the last 2 questions. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a good one. Okay. In your opinion, do you see light at the end of this tunnel that we're in? And explain your answer.
Okay. Well, I do believe this is the new normal. We are never, ever going to have our normal life back again. That's it. Now, am I being negative about that? Well, I got over the negativity once I found out that this is it. You know, I just thought, well, this is it. I've got to accept it. I do see the light at the end of the tunnel only as a prepper. That's it. For the rest of Wayne's and my life, we are going to be what I call on the run from what is being put on us. Okay. And that's what I'm saying, to get fit. We need to be on the run emotionally, physically, all the rest of it. So does that mean like running around being a nomad? No, I just mean we've got to be ahead of the ball. Okay. So I see the light at the end of the tunnel as being, if you're wise enough, if you're smart enough, if you analyze situations and world events enough, you'll be ahead of the ball for quite a while in this. I am a Christian. I do believe that we're in end times now. I don't know what your take on that is, Ghost, and I respect everyone else's opinion, but I'm not being negative nanny here. I just am passionate about the fact that if we are prepped right now, we will see it through until the good Lord comes, right, in the clouds. And but for those that are just prepping for a couple of months, Wayne and I are prepping for years. We're prepping for years ahead. We're willing to leave everything too. I mean, if you've lived in Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, all these places, they prepped all those years of war. But they were willing to leave it all. You know, they were willing. You've got to have that mindset of don't hang on to anything. Yes, you've bought a lot of preps, okay, but don't hang on to them if there's going to be, your life's going to be a threat. don't guard those preps and then you're dead lying next to them, So
Yeah.
I see the light at the end of the tunnel is Jesus Christ coming, and I hope he comes soon, Ghost.
I myself, I do see light at the end of the tunnel. But that's only going to happen. It's going to be a sound made by one person that's going to resonate. Somebody's going to say, "I've had enough of this shit. I'm done with it." That person's going to have a voice. It's going to happen when something's got to happen to collapse the false narratives that are being issued and the fake media. And then there's going to be a voice, and it's going to resonate to people. And I think somebody's just going to say, I've had enough. I mean, there's 7.5 billion of us on the planet. All right. It's like when people say, "Oh, they're coming door to door." No, they're not. They're not coming door to door. Too many damn doors, not enough knockers. Okay. Do the math. Too many doors, not enough fists to knock. Do the math. They may do it in some places, and they may be successful. They will not be successful in this neighborhood. I can promise you that. So, people that when you put that fake fear, that's like telling ghost stories to children. They believe that crap. They believe it. I do see light at the end of the tunnel. Whether this is the new normal or not, I don't know. I mean, is it a pain in the butt with the mask? Yeah, it is. But you know what? I've kind of gotten used to it. And it kind of comes in handy sometimes, just because it takes away the having to smile at people. Because sometimes I just want to slap the shit out of everybody I pass. You know what I mean? So it actually has its good points and bad points. If I want to wear it, I wear it. If I don't, I don't. I haven't had any issue with it, period, either way. But I do see some change in the future. I think it's going to be good change, whether that's spiritual, political, or just one person saying, "I've had enough of this shit," and enough people agree, and it gains momentum, and then everything just comes to a grinding halt and we start over. That's what I'm looking at. And I'm looking at a long process in doing that, because people always ask me, what am I prepping for? I prep for the rebuild. I'm not prepping to survive anything. I'm prepping to build shit back when it's done. I want to be around to influence what happens and be a part of the rebuild and the restructuring of how things work. I don't just want to make it for 2 months or even 2 years. I want to be there to see what happens afterwards.
Okay, guys. So can I just interject there just 1 minute? Okay, because I go from the biblical perspective, we have a QR code here in Australia. I don't know whether you guys have it or not. It's mandatory now. It's not going to go away. Okay.
A what?
A QR code. So wherever we want to buy something or sell something, they're bringing it in very quickly. That we have, they've brought it in because they're saying that they've got to track everyone in our state. You don't have that, obviously, in the USA at the moment. They track us. Every single person has to mandatorily in our state right now use a QR code on their phones. Now, I bought 2 flip-top phones, okay? Wayne and I don't own smartphones, right? Okay, so you're not there yet where we are. So probably how I'm talking here might sound a little bit, bombastic, all the rest. We're doing it right now. So the QR code is, they're trying to bring it into our cattle industry. We're farmers. We're cattle farmers, okay? They're wanting to push that right now, so we will not be able to buy or sell unless we are tracked and traced. They want to track and trace everything. We know that, okay? So as of next week, it is mandatory. There will be a fine of around, I think it's $1,500 if we don't use that QR code. At the moment, they're saying it's just for the C virus, but no, one of our politicians whistle blew on it. She said there's 87 organisations associated with that QR code. Hospitals, doctors, already I know.
They're doing that. They started that in China a while back. Like you can't even buy anything with cash in China. It's all got to be on your phone with your little code and all that good stuff. Yeah, so I see that happening. I see that happening. I do. I see it happening here. I mean, thank you, Dusty. I appreciate that. I do see something like that happening here. I mean, some people can call it, technology and progression or regression or whatever. I'm taking it like I'm a boxer getting into the ring. I'm going to take
Yeah.
some shots. I'm gonna swing back. And you
Yeah.
know, at the end of however many rounds it is, 8 rounds, 10 rounds, 3 rounds, whatever it is, we'll tally it up and see what we do next. You know what I mean? Is it a rematch, or I'm just, because here's the thing, I'm just one guy. I have no voice in DC. I have no voice, anywhere where they make laws and make rules and make decisions. So nobody gives a shit what my opinion is.
Oh,
Excuse my language. From
we
what
do.
from
We
the
do,
people that
Ghost.
no,
Yeah.
the people that make the decisions, they don't care about us. We're small people. We're pawns. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
a pawn can win a game of chess
Mm,
just as a
yeah.
knight or rook or anything else. It just depends on how you place it. So I'm just
Yeah.
going to be patient. I know I'll take a few shots on the jaw, but I got a pretty strong jaw. It's not the first time I've been hit. So
That's right.
we'll just see what happens. We'll see what happens. It's what's going to happen is going to happen. It is what it is. I can't change it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how I see it. So that's what I'm saying about the mental attitude. Someone just wrote there, it sounds a bit markish. I do believe that that's what's happening. But also the Bible tells us that we will go through, a lot of us will go through that tribulation time. My hopes are I'm going through it. That's why I've prepared. I want hope. I want all the people in the chat and the viewers here to have hope. That's why we're teaching preparedness. Ghost is the same. Wayne and I and Ghost, the three of us, and anyone else who's got a channel in the chat and viewing, why do we make a message? Not to get subs. I don't care about subs. I don't care about whether I've hit monetization, which we have and we're not going to do. My thing is I want to get a message out there. That gives me more glee in my heart than anything on this earth, to think that someone learned something off Wayne and I, whether for their life and their survival. And I know Ghost feels exactly the same. So yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love that part. That's the best part. I'm a teacher. That's what I do for a living. So, when I can do the same thing on here, and I see somebody's eyes light up, or I see a good comment, or they learn something, or they're like, "Wow, I didn't know that." It makes me feel good. It's
Exactly.
like it's a good feeling. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, that's a
all right,
great
are you
feeling.
ready for the Whopper? Are you ready for the last question I have? The Whopper. This is the Whopper. All right.
Oh, okay.
Now with the computer hacking and all the stuff that's been going on for the last several months with the power grid, the supply chain, the grocery stores, the banking, all this stuff. What are your expectations? And see, this is like more of a USA thing versus just an Australian thing, because it has to do with the winter. But like myself here, I fear that we're going to see a major event at the beginning or right when winter kicks off. It's going to be something to do with food supply, hacking. Think about all the people up north that heat with heating oil. What happens if they hack the oil pipelines again? You got
Exactly.
dead people. You got dead people. If they can't get food and they can't get heat, you're talking about a mass migration in the middle of the wintertime, everybody heading south. I think this winter in the States, or at least in the Northern Hemisphere, is going to be really weird. That's about the best word I can think of. I think it's going to be really weird, because that's going to be about that's a perfect storm.
Well, the perfect storm hit last year in Texas, right?
I think that was a test drive.
They know the test drives, exactly. They've been doing the test drives.
Yeah, Texas was bragging, "Hey, Texas, we're going to succeed. We got our own power grid. We don't need this. We don't need that." Somebody with their finger on the button said, "Hey, hold my beer," and mashed a button. How independent do you feel right now? You're freezing.
That's
you know what I mean? So imagine everything that happened from Texas all the way through to the oil pipeline, the supply chain, and all that stuff happening again at the same time in December or January.
Yes.
That would be ugly. That's my fear for this winter.
That's right, and I agree with you. I've heard you say that before. I totally agree with what you're saying. It's on the cards, as they say. It's in our face, as we say. That's anyone that gets a gut feeling. We feel it coming for you in the USA. And as I said to you before, they have to use different strategies on you, because you're a country of freedom. Our country, Australia, was designed out of criminality. We were
a penal colony.
We're a penal colony, exactly. So with you, they have to wear down that spirit in you guys over there, that patriotism, that nationalism, that we don't have that here. You know, Europe doesn't have it anymore because of the political correctness. They broke that down years ago in the younger generations. So you are the last country of freedom, and they know you want to fight for it. So they're going to try any way they can. Cyber attacks, this, that, or the other.
And I just wish people would step back and take a look at the big picture. I mean, somebody please tell me why Bill Gates is playing doctor and making fake bug burgers, and Bezos is trying to go to Mars. And, you know, you got the other rich, smart guy that knows about computers, building cars that run off electricity. And you got the other idiot from Harvard that invented that website that everybody's a member of. You know, they're all computer smart. Why are they not fixing this hacking problem instead of trying to sell worm burgers? Yeah. Right. You've got all the computer geniuses working for you. Why don't you fix this hacking problem?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, you're doing fake bug burgers and you're pretending you're a doctor. Give me a break, man. Yeah. It's kind of obvious if you look at it, you know, it makes no sense to me.
Yeah. And, you know, we all know that with the pharmaceutical companies, I mean, behind, you know, this whole C virus is money. That's all it is. So if you haven't woken up from that now, you never will. And I mean, kickbacks, brown paper bags, you name it. It's all been happening while all of us are under lockdown. That's the whole thing. So becoming independent. I said I didn't like that word so much before in Lone Wolf. We do need to be independent. We also need to have our independent groups. There's 3 R's that I talk about a little bit, guys. One is 2 words that you know that have been very strong in your country: resistance and revolution. Okay, this has been talked about. You guys have been talking about this the last 12 months. I prefer not to like those 2 words. To me, resistance and revolution have never worked, even in the Bolsheviks. It didn't happen. Give me the word rebellion. Now, that's a different story. Okay. Oh, but you can't use the word rebellion because that means that you're a rebel. We've been taught all our life not to be a rebel. No. We're not saying we're rebels. We're saying we want to rebel against a system that is totally not for us, totally wanting to control us. Resistance, that means you're pushing against something. And how long can you resist? You know, it's like weight training. Okay. Revolution means you've got to have millions. Look at Hong Kong. They tried to start a revolution just before this started. Didn't work. Okay. Rebellion, totally different story. So I hope that message goes across to some of you that, you know, we are rebels, not resistance fighters.
Okay, guys, it's question time. Do you have any questions for either of us? Preferably Homestead Oz, since she's the guest of honor.
I better put
I know I saw a whole bunch of questions earlier, so please don't make me try to scroll back through the chat.
Yeah, me too.
Let's take some questions.
Everyone's probably left after me giving that little bit of a soapbox talk. I don't know, guys. Let's see.
Yeah, put your questions in caps. Good point, B. Charmin. Unless you're yelling at me, you can just always put it in capital if you want to just yell at me. I don't mind.
Interesting. Prepper 101 said there, rebellions are won on hope, and he's right. That's the difference. You know, when you're resisting, you're already saying that you're defeated. You know what I mean? Whereas rebellion is built on hope. I agree. You know, if you live in South Africa, you're constantly resisting because it's lost. Yeah.
Prepper 101 asks, what is the reason your government has extended the lockdowns?
Okay. All right. So that's another 4-hour answer to your question, but I'll just shut it down really small. Prepper 101. They weren't getting what they wanted, which we know, is this, and their numbers are lies on the news. So they're saying they want a 70% rate, exactly the same as the USA. And at my state, Victoria, was the testing ground of that. And all the rest of the states here have been divided against us. So, all right, answer. They want us divided. We know that. Divide and conquer. That's obvious. So our states now are in total disarray. Our borders are stopped. They want to really make individual countries, I believe, out of each state. They want that in as many as they can now, which is why the lockdowns, because people are going to get psychologically worn out again. Our lockdowns are different to yours. I'll just straight out say it. Yeah.
And Zai asked, is that mandatory down there yet, or is it still?
It's not mandatory yet, but they are saying no job, no jab, like you guys. I think on a worldwide basis, they can't make it mandatory. I did see Pinball say something about that, I think it was, and a few other channels. I'm not into the legal terminology, but I read our Biosecurity Act, and it doesn't seem like they can make it. They can make it mandatory, though, if you're a threat and you have symptoms, right? Anyway, that's one story. Getting back to Prepper 101's question is, the lockdowns are here because they're not getting what they wanted, plain and simple. They've been on it for now, all this time. They'll continue and get what they want, which is they need each state totally separate from each other, right? Tasmania is an island, but it's part of Australia, right? Hawaii is the same. Tasmania has not had what we've had because it's an island. They've already controlled that. The in and out, the exports, imports from Tasmania. So they do not want it. Right now, I can walk out our door and there's policemen saying, have you got your permits, okay, for travel? Okay, so it's all about border control, keeping us, they want us into that Agenda 21. Agenda 21, we know that's what it is. So they've got to work hard on that and fast. You have Operation Warp Speed, okay? We just have Operation Lockdown, full stop. That's it. So, yeah, I hope that answers Prepper 101. It's the same.
Will it be worse in America more than Australia? I don't think so. I don't think so, simply because the numbers. I mean, we have way more people than government officials. So the numbers, I don't think it'll be as bad in America as it is in Australia. I think some parts of America will be, like the big cities, like New York, Miami, LA, DC, San Francisco, Portland. They're going to be hotbeds for it because they're liberal. They're blue. Wherever there's blue, they're black and blue go together for a reason. It's a bruise. I mean, one's going to follow the other, in my opinion. So.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Let's see. There was another good one here. It passed me up. Oh, here's one for you. Homestead Oz, are you and Wayne seeing a severe shift in the cattle prices as ranchers?
Yes, absolutely. So cattle prices are so high because we've had drought for so many years. So Wizard, I'm looking at you guys coming into a long time of drought because that's been shown all over the news. And so what happens is then you have the cattle shortage. We have cattle shortages here because of long-term drought we've had. Plus also there's other dynamics involved, which has been the C virus and transportation, all the rest of it. So yeah, our cattle prices are so high now, but that's why the meat prices are high as well. And so people wanting to start and restock, they can't afford it. Now, there was a question from Milkmaid, and I can't see it now, but could you read that to me, Ghost? I can't see it. Sorry, it's gone.
I'm trying to find it right now.
It was about exemptions on religious. We can't do that, Milkmaid, here. We can't. And look, if there was a way, where there's a will, there's a way. Lynn can find it. And exemptions don't stand up here at all, unfortunately. They actually changed our legislation last year to say that on no grounds can you stop having this based on a religious viewpoint, or either you cannot stop having this based on an illness that could, an immune problem. So, and they're pushing that really hard. So, yeah. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Milkmaid says at Ghost at Homestead, are there legal resources you can take there regarding religious or other exemptions for mandatory jabs?
No.
I know we can here. I don't know if you can there.
Yeah, no, we can't. No, they made legislation. They changed the laws last year that no religion can stop that. Whereas 12 months beforehand, yes. because I was all prepared to do that, you see. So just be prepared for that one too. They might change that with you guys. An exemption for not having that because you've got an immune disease does not stand up at all. No. There's only, and I've rang my doctors on that, and they told me that answer. They said then it all changed a few months ago. So there's your answer, Milkmaid. What's this? Oh, Canada, our dear cousins. Yeah, sorry, guys. Canada and Australia. Yeah. Zane, you hit it on the head. So, we're basically twins, Canada and Australia at the moment. Ghost, you've got friends in Canada. You could probably explain a little bit about that, what's happening. So
I mean, I think Canada and Australia get treated like Great Britain's redheaded stepchildren. You're like remember that commercial way back in the 80s? Go get Mikey. He'll try it. He'll eat anything. That little cereal commercial. That's what you guys are. You're like Mikey. You're like Mikey North and South. Everything gets tested out on you guys to see if it works or not.
that's
And it's
right.
and the thing is, most Australians and most Canadians that I have ever met are so nice and so welcoming and easy to get along with, non-confrontational, as compared to Americans. Americans are like, what? Hell no, right off the bat. I don't even want to hear why. We're just saying no because I don't want to talk to you. But it's completely different, north of the border. And
Yeah.
it's I don't know. I think it's like a beta test. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's really weird. I mean, if they can show that it works or that their plan works or that it gains momentum, then it's kind of like playing that old Chinese game where Conquer, where you have to have the little black and white colors and you move them around the board and you get a little bit at a time until you control the board. That's what it reminds me. I mean, it's like pathetic.
Yeah, exactly. Pathetic's the word, exactly. So we it's like looking into a mirror when I look at Canada at the moment. So that's the whole thing.
Yeah. What's up, Ghetto Prepper?
Ghetto Prepper. I don't know Ghetto Prepper. I have to check out Ghetto Prepper. Okay, the ivermectin. Yeah.
Oh, here's a good one for you from Gemma.
Yeah.
At Homestead Oz, how are people with disabilities such as autism being treated down there? Is that in regards to the lockdown or the?
Yeah. Well, if it's in regard,
both. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
In regard to the lockdown and wearing masks, all the jab, they're treated. The police here treat them just the same as us. So there's no. It's actually written in they've just written up in our legislation that they cannot mistreat people with autism, mental illness, but they are. So this is the thing. I mean, look, we are communists now. We really are. I mean, what one thing is written on paper doesn't mean to say in the streets that that's what it is. Guys, I hope I haven't said too many words for you in here that we haven't buffered once though. So that's good.
No. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's, Prepper One. Yeah. This is somebody's responding to Prepper One, said the average cattle price going to auction was $4,200. Normally it's 300-ish. That's a huge difference.
Whoa.
Unless that's a typo, that's a crazy difference.
Okay. So all I could say for that is obviously they must have culled hundreds of thousands of your cattle over there. They must have to get those prices. Supply and demand.
They culled quite a bit. But actually it was forced onto the farmers and ranchers had to, because I mean, you got the butcher houses where you bring your animals to, they only have enough food on stock to feed them until they slaughter. So if you push them back a week, they're out of food. So they're dying on the hoof.
Yeah, exactly right. And so when the JBS went down, that Arkansas had to go and help out with, well, we know that they had to go get transported back, and they had to make sure they had feed. It must have been a massive operation to do that. And they knew that. They wanted to cause, trouble. People don't want to go through that continually. And what you were talking about, the cyber attacks, just look to your left and your right and ahead, and they're going to be happening more and more all the time from, yeah. And look, I got on my bank, with our internet banking, I got legislation now they can freeze my accounts. They openly told me that if I, there's lots of things like that. So, yeah. Get your money out of the bank, buy tangibles, buy as many tangibles as you can. Cars have gone up a lot. I think cars, you've had a chip problem with your cars in the USA. They're sitting in places. Yeah.
Yeah. Tess Earl, I'm not ignoring you. I'm not going to put that comment up on the screen because those two words you have in there are a trigger word, and I don't want to post that up here. But yes, I agree with you. I have researched it, and you are correct. That is true.
Okay. I might have a look to see what that was.
It was Tess.
Okay. No, I can't get it up.
Arc Wildman, I'm sorry. I'm dyslexic here. Arc Wildman, yeah. He made it. All right, do we have any other questions? Anybody else?
So Ghost, with you don't go very far away from home. You prefer to, be on YouTube, be prepping, all the rest of it. Locally, I've never asked you this question. Locally, how many people around you are preppers? Have you got Backwoods? Is he near you at all?
No, no. He's Backwoods. Probably he's 12 to 14 hours away.
Okay.
But I mean, there are some very prominent preppers that are really, really close to me. I live a hop, skip, and a jump away from some really big, people in the chat. Actually, I live walking distance from a couple, which is good.
Oh, that's great. That's perfect.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's really important. What is the price of Victoria's bitters? Of course, Mad Shadow. I said, Mad, look, I wouldn't know that, but Wayne would, so I don't know, and my daughters would know. But I'd say it's increased a lot since they couldn't get those certain ingredients, because beer was at a shortage when we had the shortages here because of the imports. There's certain ingredients that go into beer that's not just hops anymore. I don't know what it is.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, what's
Gemma's
that?
got a good question. Gemma says, how would you prep people with disabilities?
Yeah, look, health and disabilities has been on Wayne's and my mind a lot lately, because we've been thinking, who out there do we have to help? Some elderly people with disabilities. Depends on what the disabilities are. Like, our plans are for our survival. So, I mean, our farm, if someone's in a wheelchair, it's going to be, they can't get around. They're going to have to stay in their house. And we won't have
disability. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
disability.
Like me, myself, I am disabled. I have a service dog. He's with me 24/7 everywhere I go. He has to be, simply because I can't take the prescribed medication for PTSD. I'm one of the very few people on the planet that those medications, it messes with my heart rhythm and it makes my heart really, really weird. So I can't take it. So I have to have him. But I prep for that. I have on hand right now a year's supply of dog food for him that I can easily stretch to 2 to 3 years. Just because I have excess rice and beans and all kinds of fillers that go into it. Plus I raise my own meat rabbits. I raise, do my own garden, here within 6 months, I did my math today. Within 6 months, I should be breeding, or I should be on the steps of breeding in excess of 1,000 pounds of meat a year.
I believe it. They're rabbits, so I believe it.
That's a lot. But yeah, as far as prepping for people with disabilities, it depends on the disability, and that has to be the priority in how you prep, because it's gonna determine whether you go left or right at the stop sign.
Yeah, exactly right. I agree. That's exactly right. And we actually sold 7 puppies yesterday. So, and they're all going to people basically because of the C virus, because people have not been able to mentally cope. So our puppy sales have gone up the last 12 months because of that, you know. In fact, just as we're talking, I've got people who just bought one yesterday sending me photos and doing all that kind of thing. But yeah, disabilities, it's such a vast area. I mean, mental, yeah. We have a lot of friends that have had, you know, mental breakdowns and all the rest. And the only way they're coping is gardening is great. You know, if they can physically get out there and garden, they do. What does that say? What colour green is that on your wall? That colour green is like what you see in the, I don't know, it's my daughter's. We're down here, Wayne and I are in town in our daughter's place because we've been censored fairly heavily at the farm with our IP address. So I think it's an emerald green. And on the wall behind us, I put it here because of New York Angry Prepper coming on from New York. And there's my daughter, all in New York photos up there. So, yeah. But it's a pretty colour. It's nice. Okay, yes, Australian, and they claim we get sick, we won't get better. Yeah. So, so Ghost, you and I were talking ahead of time about, you know, health and how I said I particularly don't like going to doctors and hospitals when I get sick. You're the same too. So that's why you're storing the dog food, you're getting everything done. We've got Arkwild Man Survival on here. He's been teaching us all and prompting us all to get out there and get our wild foraging going. What's this question?
Oh, yeah.
Are you finding
more extreme where you live?
Yeah, okay. So I don't know how many in viewing this actually believe in weather engineering. I do, and a lot of our friends do. I think if you look at the cloud systems now, it's not what we learned in geography. Yes, we're seeing a lot more extreme weather conditions here, a lot more storms, a lot more downpours, and then it won't rain for a long time. That's not how we grew up, you know. So I do think they're manipulating the weather. And you guys see it a lot more than us, though, that's for sure. You know, as I said, Texas. Yeah. Hi, Ghost and Oz. Oh, Green Thumb, good to see you, mate. Good to see you. I better have a look.
Okay, we got some new questions. What's going on, guys? Don't leave it up to us. We'll get in trouble.
Yeah, I've probably got you in enough trouble tonight as it is, Ghost. I hope I haven't.
I can just blame it on the Australian.
Yeah, yeah. Blame it on the Aussie.
Yeah.
Have a look.
Yes, the Wizard, it's winter. Whatever time of year it is here, it's opposite there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's summer here. It's winter there.
Yeah.
Their Santa Claus wears shorts and a tank top.
Yeah, it is a sunny day outside, but you know our winters aren't as extreme as you guys, and that's why Ghost, you were saying it's a great concern for you what your winters, you know, what it's going to be like your winter, this one coming. I mean, your President Trump said it's going to be a dark winter. That was the winter before. That was the summer before last winter. Well, yeah, I think it might be a dark winter for you guys coming soon. Do you still have limits on you can buy at the grocery store? No, we don't, but I'm expecting that to happen again. I think if you can understand how they work the narrative is worked by pushing forward, pulling back. So they will push forward with an agenda for a few weeks, then they'll pull back and let you have a break. That's how they work here in Australia. So, okay, supply chains broken down because of border control. They won't let the trucks in, or they're doing the C virus on the farmers. No workers allowed there. They do that for a few months or a few weeks, and they pull back again. Give you a break. Let you breathe for a little while. Then we'll come in and get you again. So that's if you can work out that strategy, guys. That's it. Don't think, okay, that's it. Basically, it's the pulling. The ebb and flow, it's like a tidal wave, not a tidal wave, just a tide coming in and out all the time.
And then you've got big business making a lot of money on this. I mean, Jeff Bezos's his bank account increased by like 400% during all these lockdowns because everybody was ordering from Amazon. You know, I think he went from like number 10 on the list to like number 1 in less than 2 months. But you've also got to step back and look at it. Like me, I love to can food. I'm an avid canner. All right.
Yeah.
Now, you can't find lids. Now, the only way you can get lids is to buy a whole case of brand new jars. A case of lids was like $3. A case of jars was like $14 before this stuff happened. When you couldn't find them, on eBay, you could find them for $150 for a case. Now you can find them randomly at Walmart and other places, but the only way you can get new lids is to buy the entire case of jars. All right, here's common sense, people. It's way easier to stamp out that lid than it is to make a glass jar. There's not a lid shortage. They're holding back on the lids, forcing you to buy the whole case of jars along with it. That's what they're doing.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah, Wayne and I said the same thing, guys. We're saying, no, they're holding back the lids. The same as the lumber here, guys. They're holding back the lumber in Canada, USA, and Australia because they want the good prices. They're going to get it, you know. So what's
Prep
this?
101, here's the thing. The internet is the basis of pretty much all communications nowadays. And a lot of people don't know this, but the internet was invented by and for the U.S. military. Okay. And they realized they can make money by letting the public use it and charge an outrageous amount of cash for it. But here's the really weird thing. There's a button on somebody's desk in some building that they can push, and the internet goes down for everybody except the military.
Yeah.
So yeah, they can shut communications down whenever they want. I mean, that's bottom line. I mean, they can just shut them. They can flip a switch and everything goes dark for us, not for everybody else, for us.
For us.
You know, and there was a perfect example of that in one of my favorite television shows that only lasted 2 seasons and it could have went for 20. It was called Jericho. Have you ever seen it? It starred Skeet Ulrich. It came out a few years back. It's on Netflix. It's called Jericho, Jericho, and it went into a lot of kind of what we're dealing with here, but it showed the internet going down except for elements of the military. And it showed how there's a lot of very, very realistic, real-time information in that TV show. It's really, really good. You should watch it.
Yeah, I think one of my daughters has. Because they have Netflix. Wayne and I don't. Yeah, it sounds familiar. Sounds good. Okay, so remember all of us last year when we had that few hours black all around the world on YouTube? Test again, remember? Yeah.
Yep. They can flip a switch. They can flip a switch and shut it completely down. I mean, literally.
Yeah. Now, guys, I don't know when you're talking about the internet, I don't know anything about this. Do you know they're saying that there's going to be get rid of the old internet and they've got a new internet waiting for us? That's what I'm hearing some people say. I don't
know anything about that. I'm not a tech guy. I look at it from the military standpoint, you know, from when I served, you know, and these are things that I was like personally told by people that are a lot smarter than me, you know, and I believe them. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, if it's something, if I built it, I made it for me, for the military to communicate in a grid down situation. Yeah, I'm going to have the ability to turn everybody else's phone off where I can communicate.
Yeah, exactly.
Ghost, do you think they will ever do that here? Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I actually think they've done it before. Yeah. There's no way you're going to develop a system like this and not test it. Think about how many times the internet's just like went down, even for just a few minutes. Like literally they could just like shut it down for a minute and just do a test signal and see if it works at the people that they want to know that it works. I promise you they've tested it more than once.
Yeah.
To make sure it works.
I agree. So Stephanie's heard about that too, what I was saying. Yeah, I've just been seeing the last week or two, just doing a bit of research. They're saying they'll get rid of the old internet. And I'm thinking, is that all to do, the new internet going to be to do with our social credit score? That's how I think they do it in China. You know how they
probably makes sense. Yeah. Gemma, thank you so much. You didn't have to do that, but thank you so much. I appreciate that. Skynet went live July the 8th. Rob Braxton is showing his channel. Here's a text, Swami. Says Skynet went live July the 8th.
Okay,
Rob
there you
Braxton has a show about it on his channel. He's a tech Swami. Might have to check that out.
Yeah, thanks, Wizard. I'll check that out too. Exactly.
Well,
So
obviously, I mean, Skynet must be an improvement because nobody's lagging. This has not been a glitchy stream. The internet's working really, really good since the 8th. So that might be true. It's working really, really well.
yeah, it is actually tonight. So, well, my morning, your night. So stay safe, Prepper. Oh, see you, Prepper 101. Okay.
Good night, 101.
Yeah. Truth Fairy, so stinking cool, 101. Yeah. Now,
All everybody in the chat, I meant to say this earlier, but to make this show successful, I'm gonna kind of need some help because I'm still new to YouTube. I've only been here for like 5 months. So, and I don't have contact information or even know the names of a lot of the people that you guys would like to see up here on the panel for the summit. So if you wouldn't mind, shoot me an email. It's a very easy to remember email. I'll type it in the chat here.
that's a good idea. Ask everyone who they'd like to see on it.
There's my email address, ghostprepper1369@gmail. Email me with names of people you want to see up here. And if you have their contact information, email me that. If you know them and you're friends with them, reach out to them, ask them if they'll do the show and get us in contact with each other. I mean, because I don't want to come here and just pull random people up here that I know that you guys don't know and don't want to listen to. I want to bring people up here that can, like you, Lynn, bring something to the table that people want to hear, to have a good conversation, to be able to bounce things back and forth off of, and make the show interesting. I mean, it's hard to have an hour and a half show. We've been on here right now for over an hour and a half. It's hard to have an hour and a half show and keep people engaged.
Yeah. I don't know how many have been in the chat. I can't see that, but I thought we were only about 3/4 of an hour. That's an hour and a half. That's great. I've been enjoying it.
We were up to 100 there for a while. Now we're in the 70s.
Okay. It's probably something I said. Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Nah. But yeah, I mean, if you guys want to see somebody up here, get in touch with them, get in touch with me, drop the names, help me get in touch with them so I can set up. I would like to do this probably, at least twice a month, every 2 weeks.
I agree. I think it's a great idea. The more that you get on that are prepper friends and got YouTube channels that are getting their point of view from around the world, the more you're helping your channel get that. You're getting that message out of, okay, this is, like I said before, the start of this conversation. We need to know what's happening in Japan. We need to know what's happening in UK. There are brothers and sisters over there. And what happens here in Australia is going to be happening to you in another few months' time. That's why I blurted out a lot to you guys today on here for the last hour and a half, because
And B Charming's got a good point. There's a lot of different channels that are live tonight, and we've been holding between 70 and 100 people pretty much for an hour and a half. That's awesome.
That's great. That's good. Good to hear. Yeah, what's Saturday night?
I think it's just because they want to listen to you talk. It has nothing to do with me. Leslie, I'm not going to put that up there. I see that comment just because of that number and that letter. That's one of those trigger words, and I don't want to get in trouble. But you do not even want to know my thoughts on that. Trust me, whatever you're thinking, I'm probably thinking worse.
Where's Leslie? Oh, yeah. I agree, Leslie. That's all I'm going to say too. I agree. So we've got them here. I can look out here and I can see one right out there now, just standing, Leslie.
Gemma, I actually have an idea I was going to run by you one day here soon. I was trying to get this show off the ground and going, but I was actually, if you want to do a show on you specifically to where you can get the message out to the people in my community that aren't aware of who you are, the message that you share. So if you would like to do that one night, we could set it up when it's convenient for you, because I know you're in the UK, and we could do a live stream, and I'd love to have you on as a guest. I think it'd be really awesome.
Sounds a good idea. Very good idea. What else is in the chat? Okay.
It's like, whoa. Yep.
Kim's Farm Life. You're right. That's right. That's why I've been getting it all out there. We want you guys prepared as much as you can. So keep watching us. keep watching Australia. Not so much our channel. I'll have to come into my daughter's to upload videos from now on. But yeah, keep what
Wild
there used to be an old saying, Ghost, which was when America caught cold, Australia sneezed. Okay, we always thought whatever. You were always 10 years ahead of us. Now, for the first time in history, Australia's ahead of the USA. So there you go.
Yeah, right. It's weird. Wild Nesting says, Ghost, do you have a plan for where the community can meet if this YouTube channel is ever taken down? No, I don't. Like I said, I'm still new to this. That's one of the reasons why I'm very, very particular about what chats I put up, what messages I put on the screen, and who I bring up on the panel, to be honest with you. And the things that I say in my language, I try to, I'm a proud American. I serve my country. I think free speech is awesome, but this isn't a free speech platform. And if you're going to utilize this platform, I hate to use the words respect, but it's somebody else's sandbox. This is their platform. It's their sandbox. If you're going to play in their sandbox, you got to play by their rules, or you're going to ask to be getting the hell out the sandbox. This is the best platform there is to reach people and teach people and share knowledge. So if I have to maybe not say exactly what's on my mind in so many words, but still get my point across, that's what I'm going to do. Knock on wood, so far I haven't been in any trouble from YouTube. I haven't gotten any strikes or anything, and hopefully that I'm going to keep going down. I literally went back and made private a lot of my videos and deleted some of my videos just for my language and the content, because I don't want any heat. I enjoy this channel, and I want to make sure that it keeps going the way it is.
Okay. Ghost is gone. Yeah, well, I just hope I haven't said anything too much, because Ghost has been still not getting buffered or censored too much. I thought I could be a lot more open in what I was saying. He's back again.
Yeah. My phone died on me.
That's okay.
So
I hope I haven't said too much today that might, affect your channel. I actually thought you were a lot less censored than us, but anyway, we'll soon see.
I'm a little bit more careful than others, just because I'll get really, I don't know what's the word is. I don't know. This is all still new to me, so I'm not sure what you can and can't say. So I'm a little bit overprotective, simply because I don't want to have to have a backup channel. Because here's the thing about backup channels: you're still using the same IP address. If they want to shut them all down, they'll shut them all down.
Yeah.
So to me, if you're playing in somebody else's sandbox, play by the rules, get your point across the best way you can. For people to get upset that it's not a free speech platform, and they literally have shows, they literally dedicate their channel complaining that it's not a free speech platform. It's not like it was ever a free speech platform. It wasn't free speech when you signed up for it. So, kick rocks. I mean, do what you got to do, but it never was. It wasn't free speech when you started. When you clicked on it, it wasn't. So don't get your feelings upset. I mean, play by the rules or don't play the game.
Yeah.
It sucks, but
I must say that a few of our prepper friends here in Australia, we did say around July last year, we said, now we need to get your postal address, because we might all just be posting each other letters, So you just don't know. I mean, email's not safe anymore either. I mean, I think some of you guys saw me on when I had Backwards on here to take over the show, because
I was watching.
Yeah, you were watching. Great. Yeah, well, my Gmail, they even blocked me from my Gmail that day. That was not YouTube. Like, everything shut down. So they, just like I said, they can look, even if you're just viewers, you need to be aware of your computers and your phones, because you're watching us.
People get all comfortable. They're like, oh, we'll just talk about it on StreamYard. Okay, guys and girls, let me go ahead and bring you up to speed. Okay, Google owns YouTube. Whose servers do you think StreamYard uses? Google. All right. So, I mean, if you think you're safe just because, we're on StreamYard right now, but we're still working through YouTube, working through Google. It's all the same. It's the same machine. I mean, it's no difference in it. YouTube could have easily had this live streaming capability on the YouTube platform, but no, if you invent another company, call it StreamYard, and then charge $25 a month for people to do the same thing they could be doing on YouTube, now you're making extra money. You know, it's all about that dollar. You know, so if you think you're safe just because it's StreamYard, look, StreamYard's YouTube, StreamYard's Google, it's the same thing. It's all the same thing.
That's right. Exactly
You know,
right.
read the rules, go by the rules, or you know, I mean, if you're going to play in this sandbox, I mean, it is. Yeah, I mean, it all comes back to that. I mean, when you go to your neighbor's house, you got to go by their rules.
Yeah.
It sucks.
And while we're on that subject, I would like to say Ghost would probably agree too. A lot of us that create videos or got our own channel, we don't have time to watch a lot of other channels. You know what I mean? We watch what we can. So that doesn't mean to say that we don't love the other people that have been coming on our channels or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
We love you guys. It's just a matter of time. And I think Ghost would agree. A lot of us don't like to just say that we've watched a video and flick through it really fast. You know, and I try and watch, if I'm on a video, I watch the whole lot. Is this another? Okay.
Yapit Methuselah says still the best show on YouTube is Ghost and Backwoods prepping together.
Agreed. Totally agreed there.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're still friends. We're just taking a break. He had stuff to do. I had stuff to do. I mean, you know, plus you guys stopped sending emails in with what will we do scenarios. So we kind of ran out of things to talk about.
Yeah.
But, you know, it is what it is. Yeah. As far as the videos go, I mean, there's a huge transition from just being a person enjoying the YouTube prepping community and being a prepper like I was up until February when I started my channel. And then after starting my channel, I mean, I was nonstop watching everybody's videos before I started my channel. When I started my channel and I had to do live streams and make content and be held accountable, all that time to watch other people's videos went away. And it's kind of frustrating. I kind of miss the old days when I didn't have to put out content. I didn't have to do, you know, videos and stuff. I could just watch everybody else's stuff, you know. But once you take that, you turn that corner and start putting out videos and producing content, your spare time to watch other people's content goes like literally down the shitter quick.
Yeah, totally agree. And that's right. But as I said, that doesn't mean to say we're not supporting them or we don't still love those people. It's just a matter of, it's like you've got a good friend, you don't see them for 3 months. Well, yeah, you pop in all the time. That's the thing.
Yep. It bites, but
yeah. I'm going to have to go soon, Ghost.
Okay, that's cool. I was just happy to have you for an hour. You've been here for almost 2, so that's awesome.
And I'm happy I've been all this time too, and I've really enjoyed it. I've read a fair bit of the chat. I'm going to actually keep the chat on my phone and reread it as I go out here later. But look, Ghost, one of the main reasons I had you on our channel was because of your straightforwardness, like I said, and the honesty. And anyone watching Ghost, you know where he stands. He's a very straight out, upfront man, and we need more of that on YouTube. A lot of YouTube people are about, you know, giving messages just to get as much money as they can. I know Angry was supposed to be on here today. He doesn't come from that slant at all. Neither does Ghost. Yeah, there's a lot out there that are monetized, but their whole thing is they want community. And for all you guys that have been supporting Ghost, keep doing it as much as you can. He needs that support. He's putting in a lot of work here.
I mean, and I'll tell everybody on YouTube, and Prepper Tribe's the one that pushed me into doing my channel, and he was laughing so hard. And he goes, when he mentioned about getting monetized, I said, hell yeah, I'm getting monetized. He goes, you just gonna say it out there on live like that? I said, hell yeah. Why? I ain't got nothing to hide. I'm gonna get monetized.
Yeah,
he goes,
you did.
He goes, why? I said, because YouTube's gonna put ads on my videos regardless. So they're gonna keep all that money. So I want my piece. If they're gonna do it anyway, give me my little piece, and then I'll take that money and I'll buy new cameras, I'll buy new equipment, I'll buy new stuff that I can use on my channel. Why would I want to come? Why should I come out of pocket to make YouTube the money when YouTube owes me money, and then I'll upgrade my stuff and get better content and produce better videos? You know, it's a business. So if you look at it that way, it's literally, it's a business. If you're going to, because every time you do a video, I mean, I've had to upgrade my internet. I had to rewire my house. You know what I mean? So it's all the stuff that I buy for the canning streams, the live canning streams. I don't need to can any more food, okay? I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't need to can any more food for a long, long time. I'm canning food just to do the stream. So I'm, you know, it's expensive. So yeah, if YouTube's going to put ads and I can make money off of Nike and all these other companies that are throwing these little 10-second ads on my show, absolutely. Thank you very much. That will pay for the meat that I'm canning this week. Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, each to their own. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's a different scenario, YouTube in Australia to USA. You guys can get monetized. We've had the monetization email. We just know that our government watches that a little bit more than you. So you go for
Yeah.
it, go.
Yeah.
It's good. On
I,
that,
I just started. We'll see what happens. I mean, I hadn't got a check yet, but we'll see what happens.
yeah,
Like,
well,
get me a new camera or a light or a microphone or pay for more food to put in the canner.
yeah, that's it. Exactly right. No, go for it. That's good. Well, on that note, guys, thank you so much for having me on. It's been a pleasure today. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. I
My
probably
pleasure.
zipped my mouth a little bit, but you know what? You're a gentleman, so you let me go. So that was good. And
You're
everyone,
fine.
thank you so much. And all the viewers that are watching, as I say, look, Ghost, I will probably have you on again in a month or two, if you don't mind. Now I've worked out that I can do it here at my daughter's place. That's why we've disappeared, because I know that you've got so much more in your brain than what you're even saying on what you've even said yet. We've all got stalls inside of us that we can still share out to the community. So take care, everybody. We
I'll
love
be
you,
available anytime.
and we'll see you soon.
Have a good night.
Turn this off. I think I
All right. Bye bye.
See ya. Wrong one. There we go.
Okay, guys, we got 54 of you in the chat. Any more questions for me, or are we going to wrap this thing up? I want to thank all of you for hanging out, even though Angry couldn't show up. I will reach out to him. It's already almost 10 o'clock here. Probably tomorrow or Monday. I ain't going to bother him on Sunday. Probably Monday, and reach out to him and see if we can schedule a do-over and get him on the next show. Or the one after that. We'll figure it out one way or the other. I know he was excited about doing it. And I know that hadn't changed. It was just his work schedule. So things happen. What are you going to do? Yeah, I thought it was a really good live stream. I enjoy talking to Lynn. She's easy to talk to. I mean, she's awesome. So's her husband. They're awesome people. All right, guys. Well, I love you too, Gemma. If you guys don't have anything else for me, you want to see me smile? If you don't have anything else for me, I am going to wrap this up and grab something to eat. Thank you, 101. Appreciate that. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And depending on the comments that we get from this, and I'm pretty sure, I mean, we had a really, really strong support tonight in the chat, and that was with a whole lot of other people being live at the same time. So yeah, I think we're definitely going to do at least one more episode and see how it goes. I've just got to get the right people up here against each other, so there's a good rapport, and we can move on from there. So other than that, I will talk to you guys later. I'm going to sign off and go put some food in my belly and maybe have an adult beverage and relax and enjoy the rest of the weekend. You guys have an awesome, awesome night. Look into my community post, and I will post about what we are going to can this upcoming Saturday. I'm pretty sure it's going to be spaghetti. Virginia Roots was pretty adamant she wanted to do spaghetti. So unless anybody is allergic to the thought of canning spaghetti, I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to do this upcoming Saturday, a week from tonight. So stay tuned, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have a wonderful night. Y'all be careful.